And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at game number 4 in the Mint series. This is Mint Control. So Mint Works was a game that came out like this, a small little game that was a worker placement game, but in a mint tin. I really liked it. They came out with Mint Delivery, which I found to be okay, a pickup and delivery style game. And then Mint Cooperative, which coincidentally I'm also reviewing today, which I found to be very enjoyable. This is game 4, Mint Control, which has one of my favorite aspects in the game, area control. Let's take a look at it. At the beginning of the game, each player is going to get a card that shows your company, along with 5 control tokens. One player is the starting player. You're going to put out a bunch of different areas to control different buildings, and each building has a number of spots to control them. So this one has 5. You basically keep flipping them over till you have 5 per player. So pretending this is a 4-player game, I turn them over till there's 20. There's still quite a few buildings, I'd say almost double the buildings, that haven't been used. Your goal is to control these buildings to have the most tokens in a building at the end of the game. And when that happens, you're going to get stars equal to whatever is at the top of the building. But you have to have more than anybody else. If there's a tie, nobody gets it. Once one person has all 5 of their tokens on the table, that's what triggers the end of the game. But how do we get there? To do that, we're taking a look at these 5 tiles up here. Each tile does something different. Each player is going to pick a tile on their turn, and everyone gets to pick a tile. Once everyone has picked the tile, and there's not enough tiles for anyone else to pick one, so let's say in a 4-player game, we all pick one of the tiles, then we put them back, and someone else goes first, and we pick them all again. When you pick a tile, everybody gets what's at the top. The person who picks the tile gets the bottom. So for example, if I pick this tile, everybody gets a mint token, which is the currency of the game. And the person who picked it gets another one. Now, there's only 20 mint tokens in a game, 25 in a 2-player game, so they are limited. So if it comes to you and there's no mint tokens left to take, well, too bad. So every action is done in player turn order. In Influence, you're going to pay to put an influence marker onto a card. The cost is written on the card itself. So for example, here it costs 3 to put one on, so I pay 3 mint tokens to the bank, and I put one of my influence tokens on it. The person who picks the card pays 1 less. Presents. You get the candy effect from all locations you influence. So I'm influencing this one right here. I get a coin. This one also gives me a coin. Sometimes there's like the reducer here, makes you lose a coin whenever that one is picked. Then the person who picked presents also gets to do the oust effect. So in this case, I would steal 2 coins from someone else, or here I'd get another coin. Speaking of oust, everyone gets a coin when this one's picked, and the person who picked it can pay a coin to oust somebody, and then oust someone again for 3 coins. That means you pay coins, and you're going to kick somebody off of one. However, when you do that, they get the oust special ability. So if you're here, and I kick you off, you then can immediately steal 2 coins from someone else. And finally, there's the scavenge effect here, which doesn't do anything. Only the person who picked it gets to take a coin from the bank or steal a coin from somebody else. Other than that, all the special things are in the cards themselves. Like the controller here gets an extra coin when they choose an action. The controller gets an extra coin when earn is chosen. This one is worth 3 points, lets you steal when you're kicked out. This one you can't be kicked out from other players, but you might kick yourself out just to get the 4 coins. So there's all kinds of things, different buildings and different setups. There's also, in my set, I got an extra tile called Swap. There's some cards that are included if you want to play against the AI. So there's 2 different AIs that you can play against. But that's basically it. Now, I'm going to say a couple good things here. As always, I like the Mint Works. I like when you put these in the can, it looks like mint candy. These are a little small, the control tokens, but they're fine. This is the start player token, the yellow one. The cards are all good quality. But my word, folks, this is a simple game. These rules are horrible. They really are bad. The biggest problem is, you'll see, for example, on this card here, we have that symbol, this symbol and that symbol. What are those symbols? Well, they're actually in the concepts and actions, but they don't show you the symbol. Now, I figured it out, but also there's an overview of the game, a sequence of play, but to figure it out, you need to look at the overview, the sequence, go up here to concepts, jump over here to actions, and the rules are kind of mixed up. They spent a lot of time talking about solitaire rules on the back, but there's not even a list of the cards, so I'm not even sure which cards were which. I didn't know what the starting player token looked like. I assumed it was the yellow one. This is just for how small the game is, it's a really bad set of rules. Now, I will say the game's not that complicated to figure out once you figure out the rules, but that's problematic. I'm going to be quite blunt here. I hate this game. I really do. Of all the Mint games, this is easily the worst of them. I actively dislike this, and there's several reasons for that. One, area control games are fun. They're vicious by very nature as you fight for control of different areas. This one is vicious in this weird roundabout way. You have only 5 control tokens. You need to have more than other people. With 5, that's pretty hard. Scores in this game are incredibly low at the end of the game. So if you have 1 there, I need to put 2 to beat you. Or I need to have 1 there and kick you out. If you have 2, I need to put 3. I only have 5. That's just not interesting to me at all. That's one problem I have with the game. Then it's really easy to kick people out. You kick someone out, yeah, they get a bonus for being kicked out, and this game just has this weird ebb and flow. There doesn't feel like there's any strategy to it. Now, they took the action selection mechanism. I like that. That's from Puerto Rico, where it originally showed up. But it's not interesting at all. I'll take one. Everyone gets a coin. I get an extra coin. Whee! The best ones are the presents and the putting stuff out on the things, and that helps the person who picks it. So there's this constant rotation. And the finances of the game, the money, a fixed income of 20 coins, 25 in 2-player games, is so small, you are constantly running out of money. But the biggest problem, I think, is just this direct take-that nature of the game. And area control games, by very nature, are vicious and mean. But this one is vicious in an unkind way. In area control games where you're trying to fight for the control of an area, or area majority, have the most in an area, usually if you are in first place, you will go after the person in second place, or second place you go after the person in first place. There's that kind of rumbling in there. In this game, there's an action which just has you steal from someone else. There are multiple buildings that you steal from people and kick people out. You don't care what place they're in. You do it to the person that will help you out the most. So there's nothing in this game to preclude you from kicking somebody while they're down, and in fact, it's almost encouraged sometimes, which means you could end this game with 0 points. Whee! So all that is my thoughts on the game, ignoring the fact that the rulebook's terribly written. You add that terrible rulebook in, Now, the other MintWorks games, MintWorks and Mint Co-op, I mentioned in both of those games that those games are not as good as their older brothers. Like MintWorks isn't as good as a big worker placement game. Mint Cooperative's not as good as Pandemic. But I don't mind that because for their size, I can carry the game around and bring it out, and it's a decent game. And the value of fun for the size is worth it to me. But the value of fun here is 0. I don't care how small the game is. The proportion doesn't work for me in that regard. This one was really disappointing because I was hoping this would be the best of the 4, and it's the worst by a wide margin. I cannot recommend this one. Everyone I taught it to disliked it, and some of their dislike of the people I taught it to makes my opinion of it seem quite mild. So some nice ideas here, but it's too small, and I think the edges and the confines of it being this small take the game and make it a little unplayable and definitely not very fun. I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching the Dice Tower. Dice Tower Judgment didn't like this one at all.